Hey, it's currently 10:06 at night. I have a cup of hot chocolate, and it is 6 degrees Fahrenheit outside. I am having a great day. So, if you're already subscribed to the channel, which means you're probably a friend of mine, which you've seen this channel before, um, I've had to repurpose it due to some conflicts with a friend of mine. And, it's a shame, but at the same time, new ventures and whatever. There's a there's a lot to talk about, I'd say. But drama's whatever, and it's not worth discussing. So I guess I'll do my intro again. Hi, I'm Aiden. I am a broke-ass college student living in the middle of a pandemic, which is definitely relatable to, I can guarantee, at least a few of you. It's terrifying, but at the same time, you have this, if I get out of this alive, I can tell my grandkids that, I survived a pandemic, and then you can ride that till you die. But, it's a lot. You gotta wear masks and stuff, and hey, I'm all for not showing my face. I think I look ugly. But, it's not always a good thing. It's weird thinking about, how life was before the pandemic, because it doesn't feel all too different, but it's just enough where I don't think we can go back from this. It's definitely been a mark on our history that I don't think we can ever regress from. And it's affected so much of my life recently. In the past 3 years alone, I've had to go homeless, and that isn't a good thing. And I probably haven't ever talked about why I had to become homeless, and it's because mainly I was living with my grandmother for a long time. Most of high school I was living with her, but then when the pandemic hit, she lost her job and she was unable to get a new one. And I saw her basically melt into this stage of apathy, and we had no money. I lived in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't really get a job because then I need a ride there, and she wasn't consistent with a ride. So no ride to get to the job. You need a job to get a car. It was just a really bad loop. And so I started couch surfing, and I never really stopped until I got into college, which, holy fuck, man, I never thought I'd make it here. If you if you had a time machine and you went back in time and you talked to younger Aiden and you said, hey, you're gonna make it out of high school and make it into freshman year of college, you may not graduate, but you made it, he would look you in the eyes and be like, what the fuck are you smoking? And can I have some? But it's a lot to think about. Honestly, I never thought I'd be alive. That's really something I'd that's really something to kind of just say, then drop. But I was afraid for a long time of I don't think I'd be able to live to this point. Mainly because fucking growing up, my mom would tell me stories about people that were down the road wanted to kill you, and that people wanted your body for more than just sexual things. And it was, fucking terrifying. Because I was man, I'm gonna just walk down the street one day, some dude's gonna put a fucking cloth on my mouth, and I'm just gonna wake up having no organs. AKA, I'm just not gonna wake up. Which is fucking terrifying. Especially if you were a little kid that grew up in a very sketchy ass town. Fuck. That's honestly just I feel like I've said that a lot. Ever since I gained the ability where I was I can swear with no repercussions, aka when I turned 12. It's honestly just become my my catchphrase, I guess. Is just sudden silence, then fuck. Because I think it captures who I am perfectly. It's just silence, a realization, and then the only thing you can really say is just Well, fuck. I don't know, I think it's really, really interesting as to the Aiden character, if you will. Okay, the hot chocolate's ready to drink. It's still a little bit hot, but yeah. By the way, if you ever like want to know how to make a pretty decent hot chocolate, get yourself like an 8 ounce get like an 8 ounce glass, which is, if you have big hands like me, small. It is like smaller than your fist. So yeah, you take 1 packet of Swiss Miss, and then you add this like, it's like coffee powder. It's not instant coffee. It's not, but you can use instant coffee. I'm talking about like the stuff that you'd use for tiramisu, if you know what that is. But yeah, if you do that and you get the balances just right, it's like just the perfect flavor. And honestly, I've been drinking it for a hot minute now, and it's been pretty good. You know, it keeps me awake when I probably shouldn't be awake, but yeah. I have a triple dorm all to myself. And it's like probably the biggest room I've ever had. But like, if there were 2 other people living here with me, it would definitely be the smallest room I've ever had. And I'll be honest, man, it is very lonely. You know, I'm used to like having a house that's full of like people and noise and racket. And admittedly, a lot of that racket was very not good. Very borderline, very abusive. But, you know, it's just something you get used to. And then when I became homeless for a hot minute and I was couch surfing, and I eventually got like a small like little place to myself, and I split it with a friend of mine who probably isn't listening to this, but if you are, hey. So when I started splitting it with my friend, it was interesting because I just got a text from my friend Sean. Sean, if you're listening to this, hey Sean. So I got this like little mini apartment with my friend, and he also came from a very similar situation as me. That like, I know he never like really wanted to talk about a lot, but I could always like tell. So the moment that he texted me, he's like, "Hey, you want to like buy this apartment?" And I was like, "No, not really, but hey, you want to come live with me for a hot minute?" And he's just been with me ever since. He's I don't like to use the term best friend because it really differentiates like who you care about. And like, I care about all my friends. They're all amazing people. But like, I don't know. I'd have to say that he's probably like definitely up there. Top 2. And so when he started to live with me, we didn't have a bed for him. And I felt so guilty, but like we had no materials. So he slept on a lawn chair, and he didn't ever complain. We got him out of it eventually, but I felt so fucking bad for that man. It really hurt me, like deep inside. But like recently, we got him a bed. Probably isn't the best thing to say. We got him one recently, but we did get him one. And you know, I spent winter break with him, or at least most winter break with him, and it was this. He brought a lot of noise back into my life. Back into like my environment where I was like able to adapt. And it was kind of annoying at first because I'd wake up at like 3 a.m. to him on VR chat with his friends, and I'd hear him say something, and it'd be like something blank, and I'd go blank my balls, haha, and he'd get so annoyed at this. He wouldn't actually get annoyed, but he'd just be like, "Aiden, fucking stop." And I'd do that every night because he kept waking me up. But fuck, it was just, he kept introducing this noise into my life, which I really needed because I feel I work best when I'm bouncing off of somebody. I've been in my room practically all day because 1, quarantine, 2, I don't really have a lot of friends in college, but like, I don't talk to myself. I don't really do anything. If I'm not like on a call with my friends, it's very quiet, very silent. But when I have something to bounce off of, like my roommate, or you now, it gives me this sense of, I guess I'm not alone, which helps. And man, as soon as I got back to my college dorm, I was like, yes, time for myself. And then I think like 5 minutes after, I was like, fuck, time to myself. Do I even really want this? I'm going to college for writing. I want to publish a book eventually. And I don't know what I want to publish this book on, to be honest. Like, I have a lot of these fiction ideas in my head, but I can't write fiction for shit, man. At least I think I can. A lot of my, at least a lot of the writings I've been told that have been my best are based in a lot of very personal events with me. Like a lot of very deep and traumatic events that I've had to like adapt with throughout my entire life. And whenever I wrote them down, apparently I did good. And so I'm just so used to that like, oh, you can only succeed if you write about your trauma. But it's a lot. It's a lot to really process. So I don't even know if I'm good at writing fiction. But I'm at college so that I can write a book that I don't even fucking know what I want to write about. I have a title that my old friend gave me. And if you're watching, old friend, I hope you're doing good. But the title is Halfway House Orphan. And it's it was funny because I asked him to insult me. And that's how I was like, you're a halfway house orphan. And I just started laughing my ass off. Because it was so accurate and just so good. I can't even really describe why it was so good. It just, something about it just really hit me. And I was like, there, right there. That's going to be the title of my book. I'm taking a cocoa sip. Cocoa's the best. And so I decided right there, I was like, if I ever read an autobiography about me, that's going to be the title. And the idea is that I'm going to publish a book, and that's going to, like, do really fucking well. And then I won't have to pay for college. Ahaha. But it's an idea. It's not a consistent, and it's not even really achievable. I just have to really hope. So I'm at college so that I can, one, do better than the rest of my fucking family who never made it to college. That's right. Fuck you, mom. And then increase my skills. Like, I'm taking a Photoshop class. If you've seen any of my YouTube shit, you know that I make really bad thumbnails. But I put a lot of effort into them, I guess. But this semester, I'm taking a Photoshop class because I was like, yeah, you know what? I already kind of know Photoshop, but what if I really want to know Photoshop? And I just found out it's like Premiere and like other stuff. So like I could start editing videos if I wanted to. But like that comes with its own set of stuff where it's like, one, I need to get footage. And I don't really play a lot of games as much as I used to. And then like, I have to record with people because I don't think I'm funny by myself. And like that definitely stems from something where I'm just like, you're not funny. You're only a reactionary character in your own story. But, I'm adapting to that. I'm testing new things out like this. Just talking, just trying to get it out there. And I do think a lot of my best work comes from when I'm with my friends, because I love my friends and I love hanging out with them and I love doing things with them. And a lot of it's like I want to show people, like, hey, here's some like funny segments of my life, I guess. It's like, I don't know. A lot of it I do mainly as a hobby. And it's just like, you know what? I have time to myself. I might as well do something I kind of enjoy. And it's this. Do I expect to make any money from it? No. When I was little, I really wanted to make a lot of money from it, but no. Now I'm just doing this because, well, I kind of want to. And, I'm bored and I have nothing better to do. So, here I am, staring at Audacity, drinking hot cocoa. You really should write down that recipe, by the way. It was really good. Oh, man. So college. If you're not in college right now, and you don't really know, it's stressful. It is. And I'm going to get very personal here. I really fucked up on my first semester. It's not something I like to admit, but I am a very weak person by nature. and I fucked up on my first semester. I didn't do really good, like grade wise, and that was because I was really depressed and I didn't really have a good mindset. And it fucked with me. It fucked with me so much. But, I'm doing better now, I hope. Classes only just started last week, but I think I'm going to be able to do this semester so much better. And if you've ever fucked up in your semester of college, it's not the end. It's not, but you really, really need to put 100% back into this. And that's something I've always had to deal with, like almost my entire life, is like you need to put 100% into this because it is sink or swim, and swimming means death. And it's a very like dark thing to think about, but that's what I've lived with for, I guess, almost my entire life now. Is like I have to succeed because I don't have a fallback plan. I don't. If I drop out of college, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm doing next month, more or less a year from now. So it honestly is like I gotta succeed at this or it is all kaput. And that sounds like very like, oh, Aiden, you're being kind of edgy, kind of pessimistic, but like, it's sink or swim. And I don't want to sink anymore. I need to swim, because if I can't get through this, then what was it all worth? So yeah, that's kind of the college mindset of Aiden. More cocoa. I'm already halfway through this glass and I just started. Oh man. Literally what I did was I brewed up the warm water and then I brewed it up, poured the coffee, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hit play on this and just talk. I don't have a script. I don't have nothing. I am just talking. I think I do a lot of my best work when I'm rambling. Like, again, because most likely I showed you this channel, so you know me from school. So if you've ever seen me in school or like in, I don't know, whatever, you probably know that like a lot of my best like things I do is like impromptu, like talking. My friend Xavier, definitely, the few classes that we had together, if we ever did a project, I never like wrote anything down. It was like at most bullet points. But I've always considered my best things being the improv that I do, where I'm just like, okay, I got nothing. Let's bust this out and do great. And that's what I've been doing. Like, I did class like last semester, and I did a presentation on a guy named Henry Milk. His name I remember his last name is Milk. That was really important. His first name may have been Harvey or Hot Coco. His first name may have been Harvey or Henry. I'm 90% sure it's Henry Milk. But basically, he was this very big LGBT like activist in, I think, San Francisco. And he was really big, and he was really out there. And he got killed like right in front of like a dozen people right before he got like sworn into. I think it was like the public committee. I don't know. Anyway, I did, I think, 20 minutes of research on him. I made the presentation, I did the docs, and like everything I went into that class with was just me abridging everything and just doing my best at being, well, one, funny, because I hope I'm funny, and then two, just putting it all out there. And apparently I did pretty good, because I got a 90 on that. More cocoa. I did a presentation too on writing in my family. And like, obviously I'm not going to expose my full name or like anything on YouTube, because that's concerning. But my family is a big writing family. My great-grandmother used to write down the history of a small town where we basically came from. And when she died, it like fell upon to me. Because no one else was doing that. No one else cared. It was like, hey, Aiden, it's kind of up to you. And I don't know shit about this town. Well, I mean, I tried to. My grandmother used to tell me a lot of things, and like I'd put it in my memory and be like, yep, got it, 100%. And I'd forget it the next day. But I can tell you things like, well, that'd give away my name and where the town is, but my mom does slam poetry. And I don't have the best relationship with my mom, by any means. Especially if you know me, you probably have heard a few stories. And hey, you may hear too, because this is just me talking. But she did slam poetry, and I found this thing the other day. I found a video of her, like, just slamming that poetry, yeah. No, but it was this poem that she wrote about, like, me when I was very little, finding a magazine of this woman who had her nose cut off by the fucking, I think the Taliban, I don't know. It was a very long time ago. And the whole poem is about how she is gorgeous, and yet, like, the modern society has ruined her by cutting off her fucking nose. And how her little 6-year-old boy could just walk across this and pick it up and be like, yo, what the fuck? More cocoa. And it's interesting because, one, I always knew that my mom did slam poetry. I never really listened to any of it because rocky relationship with her. But I really enjoyed that. I really did. I was like, you know what? That is beautiful. Still fucking hate you, but that is beautiful. And my grandmother, probably someone who's been very important to me throughout my entire life, she has this book that she's been writing. She's been putting off for like her entire life, but like I helped her get it onto her new computer, and she's like finally writing it now, and I'm really happy for her. I really want that book to do well. I've had a lot of great writers in my life, from my family and then just people I've met. There's this one woman named Pam, who doesn't know this exists, and that is her real name. Sorry, Pam. But, God, when I was very little, I was an angry kid because not really to get into it, but I wasn't living with my family. I was placed in a temporary home, and Pam, who I think was like 30, was just dealing with this angry kid, and I said the worst shit to her. I mean, by the worst shit, I said it was like, writing sucks, you're stupid, and then like, that was it, I think. But I remember I tore one of her books, and I felt so fucking bad about that afterwards, man. If I could remember the book, I'd buy it for her right now. She lives in like California now. It's been years, and I don't talk with her anymore. Not because of like, I don't like her. I loved her. It's just distance. But she was this really big inspiration for me for writing. And, you know, I'd send her drafts of things I wrote, and she was like, Aiden, this is great. Your grammar sucks, but this is great. And that's consistent. I've had dyslexia my entire life, and it's only kind of gotten better. I've learned how to use commas in the past 5 years, and it's getting better. But it has always been a consistent struggle for me, and it's never something I'm really confident in. But if you know me, you know that my grammar has improved. But it's always been this like weakness for me because it's something I take very personal. Because it's like, I don't like showing weakness, because weakness means that people can fuck with you. And, you know, recently I regret showing a lot of weakness, because it has probably led to one of the longest lasting friendships that I've ever had kind of breaking down. And that sucks, man. However, so back to grammar, because I don't want to go on that tangent. So fucking this grammar that I've always like kind of sucked with is a very big strength for me, because I have been improving it over the years. And, you know, I really want to send Pam this thing I've been writing. You know, I want to send a lot of people things I've been writing. However, I'm not writing anything, because every time I sit down, I'm like, okay, here's a concept. Here's how I want it to be. Let's write it. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Every single letter I type fills me with nothing but this personal fucking sense of anger. I'm like, I can do better. I can do better. Am I doing this right? I can do better. And then I just stop. So as of recently, I've just been writing these small little sentences down in Word, because that's the program I use for college. And it's like title, beginning sentence, that's it. And then I'll pick it up, hopefully someday, probably not. But yeah. And man, I love writing. I love creating worlds. I love storytelling, but I think I suck at it, man. I'm like, every time I think I'm doing something good, I'm just like, wait, nope, I suck. So I'm obviously not doing this good. More cocoa. Update, I'm running out of cocoa. But, so storytelling. I love storytelling. I had this one D&D campaign that I wrote in the middle of the, back when the pandemic first started. And I was not home. I was in California visiting my mom, and that adventure went so bad. It went so fucking bad, man. And I was staying in this hotel because I was just about to leave, and I couldn't sleep. I watched all of Avatar on Netflix, couldn't sleep. And then I called up my friend. I was like, talk with me. And I was able to bust out this whole fucking world in like a night. And it was like, boom, plot, 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 plot. Everything was out. I had deities, I had NPCs, I had everything written down. I loved it. It was my baby. And then it fell through. Kudos to that friend, though. He helped me come up with a lot of it, and it was great writing all of it with him, because I couldn't have done it without him. It was a lot of improv, back and forth, and like, honestly, I couldn't have done it without you. If you are listening to this, thank you. But, the campaign fell through. And a lot of that came from me. Admittedly, I'm not a good DM. No. I don't know 5e. I've never read the fucking DM's campaign. I've never read anything about D&D, honestly. But I did it. Mainly because my friends were like, yeah, let's play D&D. And I was like, I don't know if I want to be that much of a nerd. But it turns out I am that much of a nerd. So I wrote this whole campaign. And I think we were really close to the end, too. But, God, it fell through. And, I'm not really sad about it falling through. I've never really gone back and I was like, man, fuck all you guys, we could have done this. Because I understand a lot of it was my fault. And, I currently kind of do small D&D things, or at least I hope I'm doing them. I have this campaign that I'm trying to run with a few of my friends. And it's something I've been messing around with in my free time. I made my whole new system for it. It's something I understand. It's more improv, more roleplay based, rather than like numbers, because fuck numbers, man. Who needs numbers? Numbers are bullshit. I'm drinking more cocoa. Okay, we're out of cocoa. This is sad, I know. However, new challenger, water. Hell yeah. Let's have some water. Hey, you there, listening to this. I see you. See you with those chapped lips. Drink some water. I really love doing D&D, but it is something that I have grown to hate, honestly. It's a lot of commitment, and I love coming up with these characters, but then they stagnate. They just sit in these campaigns and they never happen, and that makes me so sad, because I was like, I put a lot of effort into making this dude, but, it's never going to happen. So I just kind of started hating it. But this campaign that I've kind of been running, although it just reset because I wanted to add a new player. And, honestly, I'm really glad that we reset it. Because this gives me an opportunity to do a fresh start, deal with the gripes that I want to do. And it's in the same universe, I guess, just different. And I'm excited. I'm excited to do this with my friends. However, we're all in college. We all have responsibilities. We all have things we want to do and things we can't do. And that makes me really sad. And a lot of it is like definitely because, at least in the previous semester, like I couldn't handle college. It was fucking with me. It was breaking my mental abilities. So I took a lot of it for granted. And then my friends weren't. So I was like, hey, let's hang out. Let's do this. And they're like, sorry, we're busy. And, I never took it personally. I never was like, yeah, okay. But it definitely did suck because I was like, fuck, I want to hang out with these people because I miss them. They're my friends. In some cases, they're my family. But, that just never really worked. But now I've kind of been like understood a lot of this. So I've just been like keeping it close to me and internalizing it. I'm like, okay, a lot of us are in college. And one of us doesn't really like to do D&D. A revelation they told me in private. But, yeah. So I wanted to do this differently. Maybe once a month. Maybe just simple, short campaigns. The last one we did in that previous campaign was, God, it was my favorite session I've ever done. And it was this horror scenario. Because the whole campaign is based on the idea that you're like in like kind of Gravity Falls basically, but they got like sucked into a movie, and that movie was Friday the 13th Part 3. And in preparation for that one, no, it wasn't Part 3, it's Part 4. Sorry, in Part 4, I did so much research on that movie. I got down notes. I fucking watched the whole thing 3 times just to get the certain like plot beats down, where Jason was going to be, where all the NPCs were going to be. I had everything written down, and I just plopped them in there, and they reacted, and I could have done it so much fucking better. I know I could have, but like they seemed that they were having fun, and you know what? They all survived, which is miraculous. But because I was definitely rolling, I was like, I wonder if Jason just fucking murders them. But they did it. They survived. And it was these like really good moments for their characters. By the way, I just got to say, I love, as a DM, I love my players' characters. They are all so very interesting. And especially my friend Linnell. My friend Linnell has this one character named Roy. And I love him so much. He is like the stereotypical jock, but he has anger issues. And you seep into like how he operates. He's like, I want to like help my friends, but sometimes my helping actually ends up hurting them, and I need to be told where that's the problem. And I fucking love that. And I'm sad to see Roy go with the reset. However, God, I fucking love that. I think Linnell can make some of the coolest fucking characters sometimes. But then he goes and he's just like, I'm just gonna go like change up my character like right now. I'm getting sick of him. And I was like, what the fuck? I want to strangle you. How dare you make perfection and then stop? But you know what? If he's not having fun, then that makes complete sense. Man, that campaign, I did a lot of research into it, considering like a lot of it I really busted out in like one day. I was like, bam, okay, everything done. And like that's kind of how I do a lot of my writing. Is I'm like, especially when it's like fiction, I'm just like, okay, we're gonna like just really think on this. So I have a bit of a stuffy nose, but back to the other D&D I used to run, the one that I stopped and I hated, my baby, if you will. So me and my friend, we busted out the world over the span of like 2 days. And I remember I wrote most of it in one, and it was at the hotel. And then like I had a 16-hour fucking layover, which by the way, if you've never had a layover, you're fucking lucky. Imagine doing that for 16 goddamn hours. And so I was writing the entire thing on my laptop in this airport. And I had them on a Discord call. And it was just me in this airport at like 8 p.m. like in this one section. And I was just like talking to myself, walking back and forth. I looked like a fucking lunatic. Because I was like, okay, but what if you did this? And then, yeah, I looked crazy as fuck, man. And then, after that, Like, I closed my laptop and, like, I started watching Hannibal, which, if you've never seen Hannibal, it's really fucking good. I'll definitely make a podcast episode of, like, or is this a podcast? I don't know. Could call it a video rant. I don't know. But, so I watched Hannibal. Hannibal's great, by the way. Just saying, watch it. But I slept under these chairs because there's no comfortable place to sleep. And then, sorry. Obviously, I was the first person out of the airport. Or, like, onto the plane. Or not the first person on the plane, but, like, the first person to show up to get onto the plane. And I was there the fucking longest. That includes the flight attendants. And then, like, when we were getting to the seats, this couple had registered their seats wrong. So it'd be the guy, me, the girl. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. You two can sit together. I know we're in the middle of a pandemic, but, like, seats are short, so I'm just gonna, like, sit wherever fucking I need to. And they're like, as soon as I go down to, like, sit in my seat, or not my seat, but, you know, they were like, oh, actually, do you mind sitting elsewhere? We kind of wanted to sit alone. And I was like, lady, there is no other place. And she's like, well, you see, we kind of ordered this online. And I was like, then why was I going to sit in between you? Because I have the ticket right here. You can, hold on, let me. I have the ticket right here. Little sound effects. But, and she was like, well, I don't know. And God, I really hate being angry. And I really hate, like, being fucking confrontational. But I had to be there. And I was like, there is no other place to sit. And I literally slept in that fucking airport. I'm going to sit my ass right here. And she stopped. And I sat down. And they gave me dirty looks the entire time. And you all know what I did? I kept watching fucking Hannibal. And if you don't know, Hannibal is it's a show about Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal the Cannibal. And there are some scenes of him doing violence. Very bloody violence. I could just see them taking looks. And it'd be like, and I'd be like, And it was so passive aggressive. But I wasn't having it. I was in the most shit mood I'd ever been. I just got out of my mom's house. That place was garbage. And then my entire left side of my face, or no, my right side, was sunburnt to fucking hell. I looked like Prince Zuko up in this bitch. Because, like, I do a lot of walking to get out of that place. And, you know, I just wasn't in a good mood. I was pissed. So I really had to be confrontational with them. And I didn't want to be. They could have just been like, yeah, okay. Yeah, just sit down. We get it. You know. Seats are short. Whatever the fuck. Then that would have been it. But no. No, they had to be dicks. Ah, man. To kind of tie this all back to, I guess, me, honestly. That plane ride was, like, I think it had to be 2020, like early 2020 actually. Cause I went to California just at the end of my high school year. And man, I went there to go see my sister, and, like, man, if you do know about my fucking arson channel, there are some videos I've made while I was there. And that's, like, all the Dead by Daylight videos except the Roby one. Which, by the way, meeting Roby was cool. He's good people. But I, like, a lot of it was the Dead by Daylight ones. Definitely the Michael Myers and the fucking Pyramid Head one. And then there was the criminally underrated Rise of the Grand Company Battlefield one. Dude, that was the first one I actually put a lot of effort into. And, like, it gets no views. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a small channel, so that makes sense. But, fuck, I wanted that one to do so well. But, God, seeing my sister was intense. I'm not really a part of her life. She's, like, fuck, I don't know how old she is right now. I think 7. I think. But, I couldn't be a part of her life because I don't get her well. I don't get. Me and my mom don't talk for a reason. And I don't know my dad. Never really met him. But, seeing my sister was great. She is a handful, though. She used to run around naked all the fucking time. And it was like, that's whatever the fuck. As long as you do that outside of my room. But then my mom would be like, hey, Aiden, listen, I gotta go. Can you watch your sister? And I was like, yeah, sure. As long as she keeps her pants on. And she was like, no promises. And I'd watch her. And she'd be like, can I climb you because you're tall? And I was like, no, you're not wearing clothes. And then she'd freak the fuck out. And like, I don't know how to handle that. I've never had siblings, even though I have fucking 9 siblings. I don't know most of them. But, yeah, that was kind of my whole experience with my sister. And it broke my heart when I had to leave her. Because she's going to have to grow up with my mom, and that is a whole other bag of worms. I guess we can dissect later. But it really fucking broke me. Because I was like, I'm going to have to leave you here. Sorry, little one. And, I actually, before I left, God, I'm a petty asshole. Before I left that place, I stole every single picture she had of me. Not my sister, my mom, because she had a bunch of my baby pictures just all over the fucking place. Yeah, I took them all. I put them in a shoebox. And one day when my sister was like, hey, Aiden, write with me or draw with me, I drew this like little fucking like kind of sad guy because I was like, you know what? I'm not emotionally stable. So I drew this like little sad guy. And he was just sitting. And then I fell asleep that next day. And then like she took it without me noticing. Crafty little bitch. She took it and then she just started drawing all over it. And she drew like a fucking meadow behind him in like bright crayon. Meanwhile, I used a pencil. And then it was just like, I know I have it somewhere. I think it's at my other house, but it's somewhere. And it really showed a lot. And it was like, fuck it. I have grown up and you are a small one. And it fucking made me cry, man. I don't like, as I said, I don't like showing a lot of weakness, but man, my sister can make me cry like no one else. Mainly because I want to be a part of her life. I don't really have siblings. But, I really wanted to be there for her. On multiple times in my life, when I was doing really good, like my school was doing well, my friends were there for me, I almost dropped everything just to go take care of her when my mom couldn't do it. She got thrown in prison one time because I don't fucking know why, but she got thrown in prison. And I was like, okay, I need to consider what I need to. And it was like, I think junior year. I was like, nope, I got to be there for my sister. So I almost dropped my entire life to go like be a part of hers. And then my mom got out of jail. And then it just really hit me a second. I was like, this is not the first time, nor has it been the last time that I've thought about just dropping everything and gonna go to be a part of my sister's life because she needs someone there who's like a good role model. And I hope that can be me. But, it just really hit me. I was like, you were gonna leave everyone behind without a second thought. You're a fucking dick. I've tried to prioritize my friends ever since. Because I don't think I deserve them. Deep down. Because my friends are wonderful, man. All of them are so creative and unique and amazing. But sometimes I just don't think I deserve them. They're all so nice to me. And I don't really know how to show how much they mean to me. Because I'm a sarcastic asshole who doesn't really get people that much. But they mean the world to me. And it really really hurt me when I thought I was just gonna drop everything. I'm gonna sniffle real quick. It's not because I'm crying. It's because I have a stuffy nose. Okay, maybe there was a little bit of crying in there. However, we don't need to talk about that. Back to my sister. In the Dark Souls 3 video I put up a long time ago, there's a scene where I'm climbing this tower in Orlando. I know this because this fucking scene is really... I guess it just means a lot to me, even though it's so stupid. And it's basically me just saying, real quick, let's just put this all out there. This is a joke. I'm fine. Maybe not then. I think I was, but I'm fine. The scene is, it's me climbing up this like little fucking sidelines in Orlando. If you played Dark Souls 3, you know what I'm talking about. It's like the towers part. And it was like, I'm just going to kill myself here. And I was talking with my friend, and because like I was just going to like teleport me back. And she's like, what do you mean kill yourself? And I was like, yep, that's just going to be it. She's like, you're going to die in game? And I was like, yep. She's like, do you mean you're going to die in real life? And I'm just like, yep. Or it was something along those lines. But it was really fucking funny. I recorded that when, TLDR, I had my own apartment for a hot minute. And my mom came to stay with me for my great-grandmother's funeral. And I lived in the living room. And I gave them my room. In the living room, there's a TV, which my sister eventually did break, but I didn't hold that against her. And I played Dark Souls on it. And she'd just come out here and be like, I want to watch you play. And I was like, you know what? You could be watching me play 16 other really bad games, like Resident Evil 7, which would probably fuck you up for life. Maybe. But Dark Souls 3 isn't too bad. And I remember my mom gave me a lot of shit for that. She's like, why are you playing video games? Why are you doing this? Interact with your sister. And I was like, how? She's fucking 4. Or I don't know how old she was. She was young. She's like, she's young. I'm a teenager. I don't know what you think that we do, like what we have in common, but that is long gone. You think I color anymore? Nah, man. I stopped using coloring books the minute I got into high school. And she'd give me this shit all the time. She's like, why don't you interact with your sister? And I was like, hey, you have another kid over there? Yeah, my brother, the one that's like almost my age, and he's been on his phone for like 2 days. Yeah, talk with him about that shit. And she's like, well, I can't do that. I was like, what? What do you mean you can't? The fuck? God. She really made me spend a lot of money on food. And then like left in a fucking fit of rage, which is going to be a common theme if we ever get back to the topic of my family. But she left in a fit of rage. And then, like, I got really fucking depressed after that because she said some shit to me that hit me at like an emotional level. I was like, well, I'm done forever. I'm going to sit on this bed in my living room and cry for the next 5 days. And then Stranger Things 3 came out, and I was like, okay, for the next 4 days. It really fucked me up that summer. That summer really fucked with me. Because it honestly was like probably the worst my depression ever gotten in a hot minute. And like, if you weren't aware, just getting into the 48-minute mark, or wait. Okay, yeah, 49. I have some pretty bad depression that I've been suffering with my entire life. And, there are moments when I'm doing really good. Like, especially now. Like, I think I'm doing pretty good now. I'm just a bit lonely. But, I remember that summer, it was really fucking bad. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't do anything. I had this headache that lasted 4 fucking days. I couldn't shower because I started to itch through everything made me itch. It could have just been an allergic reaction. But I remember I was like talking with my friend. I was like, I'm going to go take a shower. And I got out and I started scratching my skin raw. The only person I actually let into my life around that time was my roommate. My roommate, I don't want to say his name, but he's really good, and I want to. My roommate K. We're gonna call him K because that's what I've been doing recently. He lived only a few miles away from me, and he just walked up because he didn't want to be around his family, so he just walked over to my house, which is a fucking long walk. Let's just put that out there. That was a long walk, and he did it just because he wanted to hang out with me. And dude, he got me out of bed. I took a shower because he was coming over. I fucking hated it. I was itching all over, but I took a shower because of him. And we played games. We played Stick Fight on my computer. And God, man, I can't express how much he's done for me. And sometimes I shit on him because he makes very shitty jokes that kind of get to me. It pissed me off a little bit. But I love that man, dude. He means the world to me. He's honestly the family that I've accepted. Let's change the subject, I guess, for a second. But because I have 10 minutes until I'm gonna end this recording. Fuck, I've been talking for almost an hour. It does not feel like that long. But family. I am so used to not really having one that's good that I don't know when I have a good family. Growing up, I only really had my mom. My dad fucked off. And then there's a whole different scenario with that shit. We don't need to get into that. But my mom, at a time, was very loving and very caring, and then she got really abusive out of the fucking nowhere. I've had a string of very emotional and very physically abusive stepdads, and none of them have been good for me. And then when I was 13, I moved to where I am now. And I moved to my grandmother's, and she took me in, and she was like, oh, I'm just going to take in another emotionally damaged kid. And he's going to hate me too, because she has 2 other kids, of which only one really likes her. And that'd be my uncle. And I love my uncle, by the way. We'll just put that out there. But when I lived with my grandmother, I had to do a lot of self-reflecting about who I was and who I wanted to be. And by the way, if you knew me in 6th grade, I am sorry. I am so sorry. I was a little shitter. I apologize. I did bad things. I am so sorry. But I had to do a lot of changing of who I am and who I wanted to be. And I don't know. I feel that I'm a lot better of a person now. Honestly, the only family I really have that I like is my grandmother and my uncle. They're so nice to me. Everyone else has been honestly very bad and very horrible to me. Even my adopted family, because I was briefly adopted at the point. I had one person who really liked me, and that was the person who took me in. Her name was Lauren. She's great. But her whole family was very condescending and very, whether they knew it or not, they were very hard to be around. And this just kind of reinforced this idea of family isn't good. There are people who are good, but family isn't. And recently I've been taken into a family dynamic of which I have no idea how to comprehend. If you're watching this video, I'm sorry. But it is so hard because I don't know what I'm doing. I've never been a part of a family that wants me around, that invites me to dinner and holidays. God. I remember Thanksgiving with my mom used to be like a battlefield. It really was. It was so fucking hard to just exist around those times. And then I get invited to my friends I've known them since high school. And I've known one of them since middle school. And they invited me over, and they just slowly started keeping me as a part of their family dynamic. They made me a fucking room. I don't know how to comprehend that. I've never had people that care about me that much, and it is so hard to really understand what that means, what that feels like. Because it hits you like a sack of bricks. It's like, these people care about me. They want me around. And I feel like I treat them like shit. I don't want to treat them like shit. I love them. They're great. But I'm a dick. And it's really hard. And I do a lot to change who I am because I love these people. It's difficult. It's very difficult. But if you're watching this video, of which I'm decently sure at least one of you are, thank you. Thank you for everything. It means the fucking world that you had taken this stray. Fuck, I said no tears when I'm crying. You two have been some of my biggest supporters throughout this entire thing. And I love you guys. It is nothing against you two. But one day, I really hope I can work on myself enough that I feel that I deserve you guys. And to my great roommate, Kay. And to all my friends that may be watching this video. Whether you're old friends or new friends. Thank you. Y'all mean the world to me. Alright, let's stop with this emotional shit. This is a great episode 1. Did my introduction, and then we're going to get really into the emotional side. So this is the No One Is Listening podcast. I'm your host, Aiden, Arson, Ari, whatever you want to call me. I may have people on. I don't know. It depends if they want to come on. If not, I will try to post how I'm feeling and how I'm doing and like, whatever, as long as you want to listen. Thank you all for being here. And thank you all for not listening. Is that a good outro? We'll just go with it. Have a good night.